Hey y'all, so today we're going to be doing the viral TikTok nail trend of the optical illusion French ombre manicure, but we're going to be doing it with dip powder and dip powder liquids. So let's go dive in. So I do have peel base on my natural nails, so make sure you prep your nails for longevity. Peel base allows me to pop off my manicure in about 1 to 3 days. I will leave my peel base routine linked up above. These are the two shades that I'll be using from Revel Nail. I'll be using my dip powder liquids from Color My World. So a quick tip before we get started, if you have trouble with freehand painting, another idea would be to use stickers. So just like when you color block with dip powder, you can use tape, you can also use stickers. So these are really great. I'm going to link them down in the description box, but they already have a perfect smile line. So if you have trouble on your dominant hand or even on your non-dominant, these would be a great alternative to what I'm going to show you. I'll be using these fluffy eyeshadow brushes from Wet n Wild. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, Walmart, Amazon, but I really like them for when I'm doing ombres. So I have everything out and ready. I've got my brushes next to my open jars because you do need to move quickly before the base liquid dries. So I'm going to tackle this like a color block. We're going to work it in sections. I'm going to start by doing my nail bed right here, so my pink area of my nail first. And then when I'm done with my 2 layers of my dip powder, then I will start on that free edge French smile line section. With my base liquid, I'm going to remove as much product off of my brush bristles as possible. This is how much I have on it, not very much. I'm going to start around my cuticle area, guiding the product back towards my skin, making sure I do not get this liquid on my skin, and then dragging that excess liquid down. You'll notice once I get to my smile line, this is where I'm going to carve it out. I'm going to very slowly make that curve and then rotating my finger, getting all the way to my sidewalls, connecting that excess liquid to make a complete smile line. Dipping my brush into the powder, I'm going to start it right where my nail and my skin meet, so my sidewall, tapping and rotating my finger, working my way to the center, and then tap off that excess powder. Then I dip my second brush into my second color, starting at my sidewall again, just moving quickly to make sure I cover up all of the liquid before it dries with powder. Then I tap off the excess powder, and with my cuticle pusher, I use this sharp end to very gently just push the product back into a clean smile line. Once it's dry, I use a stiff scrub brush to dust off the excess powder. Removing the excess base liquid on my brush, I get started on that second layer. I follow the same steps, just making sure I do not get this product on my skin, and I drag that excess product down. We have a guide now with our first layer, so I'm just going to follow that same line for the second layer. For the second layer, we're going to alternate our colors. So we're going to start with the darker shade first. So dipping into the darker shade, I start at my sidewall and slowly work my way to the center, just rotating and pivoting my finger. Alternating the shades will really help with a seamless ombre blend. Once I'm happy with it, then I tap off the excess powder again and I dip into that second shade. I follow the same steps, starting at my sidewall, working my way to the center of my nail, moving quickly and making sure I get that whole nail covered with powder before the liquid dries. While the liquid is still a little bit wet, I like to use the cuticle pusher again to just crispen up that smile line before we start on the next section. Once it's dry, I dust everything off with my stiff scrub brush. So with a buffing block, I like to ever so slightly and gently just buff against that line. This is going to make it super smooth, and that's going to give that extra final crisp look. I'm just very gently buffing the powder and not my natural nail. Just super gentle with this step, but it's going to make the world of difference. Removing the excess base liquid on my brush again, we're going to start on our smile line. So I'm making sure that the liquid is touching all the way up against that other section. You want to make sure that they meet, but that they don't overlap. Now I'm going to dip into my light shade here, going from sidewall to center, dip into that dark shade, and work again from sidewall to center. Once it's dry, then I dust off the excess powder. With my base liquid, I'm just making sure I get all the way up to that first section smile line and getting all the way up into those corner areas without getting it on my skin. We're going to start with the darker shade first and then the lighter shade. So still alternating the colors so we get a seamless ombre blend. Once it's dry, then I dust off the excess powder, and here it is. All right, so let's say you're at this point and you're still not happy with it. So all you have to do is just dip your brush into the powder that you want some more color of, and we're gonna scrub that pigment onto the nail. Super simple, just make sure you don't get into any other sections you don't want, and then dust off the excess powder, and that's how you can quickly just add a little bit more to it. Now it's time to clear encapsulate. So I'm going to do a full layer of my base liquid. This is going to help us get a smooth, even surface across both of these two sections and also protect it when we go to file, shape, and buff. Once it's dry, I dust off the excess powder. Now with my activator, I'm going to apply a very generous layer of this to the entire nail. We're going to let this dry for 2 minutes and then file, shape, and buff. Now with my nail file, I'm going to use the 180 grit side to go around my free edge area, go on my sidewalls, and just really go across the entire top surface of the nail to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Then I use my buffing block to go across the entire top surface. Next, I dust off the excess powder, and here's how it looks. So we're going to do one more layer of activator to the entire nail, and then let that dry again for 2 minutes. I'm really digging this matte look. It's killing me to do top coat, but I want to see it shiny too. After 2 minutes have passed, I'm going to use a dry napkin to rub it across the entire top surface of the nail to make sure I don't have any leftover activator residue. Now with my top coat, I'm going to do 3 quick strokes on the nail for my first layer and then let that dry. For the second layer, it's going to be more detailed, more precise, making sure I get all the way to those sidewall areas and really capping off my free edge. Now I'm gonna let this dry and then add some cuticle oil. All right, y'all, that is how you can recreate that viral TikTok nail trend of the optical illusion French ombre nails with just dip powder and dip powder liquids. You'll have to let me know if you have seen this nail trend on the internet. It is all over my Instagram feed, and I can't wait to hear if you try to recreate it. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me today, and I'll see y'all next week.